Hey guys, welcome back. Justin, Two Star Garage. Today we're replacing lower ball joint on 2005 Jeep Liberty. This is going to apply for 2002 through 2007, just be aware of that. It's actually my fault that this needs to be replaced. I've only put probably about 5,000 miles, maybe 6 on this ball joint, and it is really creaking. I can actually feel the stiffness in it, and it's a good thing we're replacing this today. I couldn't put any oil in here, any grease, and I'm going to tell you why. Let me show you everything we used to get to this point in time where we've got the knuckle off. It's got the hub on there still as well. How you guys doing, by the way? It's been another hot minute since I seen you. Got the 1-ton sitting over here. That, I got no space. Look at this. Got right up against the wall there. And then if I bring you over here, I've got a bunch of stuff in the back. I can barely make it to the other side of the garage. I got to sneak around the bumper there. Okay, this is what we're looking at. We've got the knuckle joint. You've got the hub in here. Obviously, that's why it's spinning around. That sounds good. No beefs there. But if you notice the boot here, there's no grease in it. And that is because when I was putting this on, I was using a setup, and you're going to see what setup I use. But part of my tool broke. Can I zoom in right there? There's a little bit of grease right there. See that? Basically, I bent the seal and I broke it. So whenever I try to inject grease into this, it just comes right out the top here. That means no grease other than what's in here from factory. And because these are greasable, they're the good ones, they don't put grease in there from the factory. There's enough in there to make sure it doesn't rust and keep it from binding up. But if I turn it, I can just feel it's not okay. The other one on the Jeep over here is in good shape. Doesn't lose any grease. They make these seals really nice on these, actually. I picked this one up from O'Reilly Auto Parts, and here's what we're looking at. Part number is going to be K80767 on this precision chassis. Here is the new one. This one looks good. We got some extra heavy-duty washers so we don't bend this surface. We want to come just on the outside of that black rim right there. And I'm going to show you what I do to make sure that doesn't happen again. When I was doing this before, I had a combination of a bushing tool set, front wheel bearing set, and a ball joint press set. And I used a combination of the three, but what I didn't have was enough to fill up the space. And so what I did, it's kind of interesting when you do this stuff, you just kind of use what you got. I grabbed a washer here like this. You can see kind of how thick that is. That bent. That's why that seal busted, and that's why I'm back here doing this all over again. If you've done the ball joints before, you know they're not very fun. Let me show you how I'm going to rectify this. I picked these up from Max Hardware. It's a local hardware shop. These are heavy-duty steel washers, and this is going to replace that. So hopefully it will fit just like so. It's not going to be going on top of this. It's going to be a different part of the section here, but you kind of see how thick that one is. This is everything I used for the most part. Ratchet, little magnet, just to get that washer off the hub right there. You want to reach in. Little wobbly. Is this 20 or 21? Got our screwdriver. It's a thick screwdriver. I use this to loosen up the brake caliper. We've got our lug nuts. This is for your ABS, TPMS sensor. This is going to be your 35 or 36. This one's a 36. This is so I can remove this nut, which is the CV axle nut. That gets torqued down to 100 foot-pounds. You're not supposed to reuse the nut, by the way, but I do anyways. These are going to be your brake caliper bolts, the big ones. There's 2 of them. Had to use the Milwaukee Impact. I also use the breakaway bar. This is going to be for the upper control arm. I use the breakaway bar to loosen up right here. And this is a Sawzall. You guys have seen this before. I'm actually going to use this right here to cut this off flush so that way I can use the press to push this out of the knuckle. And I can see it scoring it up just by me going like this. So we should be just fine. We should cut it off. Typically I want to use something like this, rotary tool, but the air compressor won't start right now because it's over in that corner over there, and the 1-ton sitting right there, and I can't get it from there to there. And the extension cord, it just stalls out. Air compressors don't like extension cords very much. And this is what we're looking at down here. We've got the tie rod end. Take this off, make sure you don't rotate that, it's in the proper position. Here's your TPMS sensor, your ABS sensor, wire harness right there. All you got to do is take a few bolts out. You got your upper control arm right here, your lower control arm right there. You got your axle nut right here, your brake caliper right there. I got it supported. Everything looks good under here other than the fact that it's winter and there's all this salt stuff along the sides. We take this thing to the car wash almost every time we go in. We got a subscription, otherwise we wouldn't afford it. Just to try to maintain the rust on the Jeep so it doesn't get worse. Hey Crystal. I did come across a tear in the boot. I found some snow in there, some ice I should say. Called O'Reilly and they're going to warranty that out for me, so thanks a lot guys for that. It's not because I pulled it out too far either. It was just busted. It's been, I don't know, it just happens sometimes. That's all I got to say about that. Well, maybe I should have shown you guys this. See if it's not too hot yet. Here's going to be your bolt and your nut for your lower ball joint. Show you right here. Apologize for not showing you while I did this. So typically I use that rotary tool, right? But I use the Sawzall right here. Worked just fine. We got a little bit of a burr right there. I'm actually going to see if that allows me to maybe get this off a little bit easier. You want to be as level as you can so that way you don't have it sliding this way or that way, vice versa. So now I'm going to go ahead and pull out my kits from over here. I'm going to try to grab just the ball joint press kit and see if that's good enough. See what happens. I'll keep you posted. Stand by. Okay, again, I'm sorry about the heater running in the background. This is going to be the most, what's the word? What's a good word that isn't like, you know, to keep it on the positive. This is an annoying part of the process right here. I have got my ball joint press tool combined with bushing press and pull kit sleeve, and then also back to the, hey, there we go, back to the ball joint removal tool. I personally think that this one just isn't big enough. Maybe I bought one that's for a car or something like that. Let me show you what I got going on here. It does work eventually, but it's a little frustrating if you're going to be doing this at home. Right here, so I've got the ratchet on this because I'm just trying to make it snug. This is the biggest problem point. No matter what I do, I can never seem to cut this absolutely perfectly flat, and there's no burr or anything like that to hold it. So when you put your pressure, when you start cranking, and I'm going to crank with this, if you don't have a vise, you have no chance other than to use an impact gun. This tends to slip off. 6858, if you got a Jeep Liberty, that sleeve out of that bearing press and pull kit fits right over for removing your ball joints. And I've got the top here, which comes from the ball joint press kit. Press and pull, I suppose you can say. This, of course, the knuckle still. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a go. This is the best I've had it so far. Eventually you finally get enough of a flat spot on that thing just to grip it enough to push it on out. So your ball joint's going to be pressed in right here, and you're just going to push it until it pops right out. And you back it off and you're good to go. It's a simple process. Make sure you wear goofy eye protection as well. It's not goofy. I feel like I look a little goofy when I wear it though. But that's just part of the gig. Keep going, we're gonna see what happens here. I am also on a time crunch because we've got an appointment to put tires on this Jeep. Did I tell you guys that I found? Yeah, I did. I told you that I found that CV axle. All right, we've got this tightened up as good as we're gonna get it without a vise. One of the problems when you don't have a vise is you got this on the hub and it just sits there and slides, you know, goes back and forth. So it adds a little bit more of a challenge. There we go. Let's see if we can do this here. Put on the lowest settings first. And I don't want something to come flying off and hit me right in the face, so I'm keeping my distance. Real life scenarios. We're gonna kick it up to the second setting. I don't know if it's moving at all. I couldn't tell you, but here we go. You ready? Just get out of the way. It's going. That has got a lot of pressure on it. This is where you need a vise. There it comes out. Just like that. Did it come out or did it slip? Ah, it came out a little bit. Let me show you. Real life scenario, here you go. That should be enough for me to just hammer it out the rest of the way. Right there, look at that. I could only get this red grease in the top. Couldn't get it through to the bottom. There was a little bit of grease in there, but just not enough. So, let's grab the hammer. See if I can hammer this out the rest of the way. You can see where it's coming out right here. This should always be flush once you go back in. Stop. Hammer time. Right? You're gonna come flying right at my hand, aren't you? This is also where you need a vise. Come on. You're gonna meme my hand, aren't you? Got too much stuff on the bench. That's fine. Total pain in the butt. There it comes. I feel like it's moving. I don't know. If you had a vise, I mean, I've got the shop press here, but it's not set up for this. Now I'm sure it's not moving, but let's use a little bit more energy on this. I'm going to put on some gloves on this side for when it comes flying out. That's how complicated it is to get that silly shaft to line up. Come on. I believe in you. Thoughts are, it's moving. Not at the speed of light though. Come on. What's your deal? What's your matter? Well, I've come this far, so why not continue whacking away at it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops, watch out for that one. 5, 6, 7, 8. Come on. "47 hammers later." Woo! And this is what is this, 3-pound sledge? It's out. When you put these in, you got little ribs. Make sure you line up your new one with the ribs inside your knuckle, because without doing that, you might actually ruin that sleeve, and then it'll just pop out. There's the old one, we're done with it. Let's keep moving forward. We got a deadline. We got greasy gloves. Yeah, you know. Good job to you guys if you've made it this far. Not in the video. Woo! But in the ball joint replacement process. I am proud of you. Okay guys, I don't know where I left off. I actually had Julie come in here and help me because I had to have her help me hold on to this thing because it was just spinning this way and that way and trying to get this deal on. It was just kind of a pain in the bottom. Let me show you. Okay, so right here for the Jeep Liberty particularly, I don't know what size this is. Did it even say a size on it? It doesn't. Anyways, it's in this bushing ball joint, I should say, press set. And this goes right over this. And you got a little hole down there so that way your threads can come out. And if you want to test, this is the old one right here. It goes right over that old ball joint. See that? Okay, so that's going to go on the bottom. And then in this kit, you've got this right here. and it fits right over the top. This is going to be your top push. Technically speaking, you can have your needle or your grease point installed already. I didn't. I just installed it now. There's still no grease in here, but I just installed that. That was an 8mm. This fits right over. Again, you want to make sure if you're looking at this here, this has to slip just over onto the black surface. And you see, it's actually got enough space in between where it doesn't really cause a problem. You probably want to have this flat, but I just would wait until the end. And grabbed your big press. The problem with these Liberties is it comes over just like that, and then it ends up running up and hitting against the top of your knuckle. But there's just enough space to where you can get a socket on there, you can push it on, and you can see we are flush right there. And I want to apologize because I don't think I got any of that on camera. Julie came in, she brought me a hamburger, and I said, hey, will you just hold this for me? And I got it started and I zipped it in, and so that's where it sits. Now, when it comes to greasing these things, let's see, I'm using the red tacky grease. I think right now it'll work just fine. I got this from Menards, local hardware store. I do have a miniature one right here. It's really pretty useless. There's not enough grease in that thing to make much of a difference. And I've got the pneumatic one. That's sitting right up over here. You might not be able to see it. Big pneumatic grease gun. I like the old manual grease guns. They just seem to work so much better. So let's go ahead and grease this up right now. These have a little adjuster on them. You can actually get it on there and then lock it down if you want to, which is really kind of cool. I am so glad to have grease in this one. So we're just going to go until it fills up the boot here. Why? Because I don't want to do this again for a while. How's that sound? Nothing's coming out the top. And that is going to be good. I'll show you if I back this off. Loosen this up. So here we go. We got a little grease around the point there. That can be wiped off. Keep your parts clean. That way you know if there's a leak, because you can tell, because it shouldn't be leaking. And this right here, it's nice and full. Push it in, it bulges out. It's going to be pretty full once I torque it down on the lower control arm. Well guys, that's going to be it. I hope you have a good day. Short video here. Ball joint replacement on your Jeep Liberty 2002 through 2007. Be careful with these ball joints. You want to get the good ones because these do have issues with the ball joints. I think they recommend them being replaced every 60,000 miles or a year. Maybe it's every 100,000 miles or a year. But these ones you can keep them greased, and I think they're going to be just fine. So with that said, consider that option, the greasable lower ball joint, when you go to purchase new ones. I know Moog has some ball joints as well, but there's others out there, so do your research. Don't just buy the standard, not like standard products, but don't just buy the basic one. Don't do that to yourself. You got to keep these things greased, and it'll be good for a long time to come. Everybody have a good day. From our garage to yours. Bye-bye.